So Bob Darris was just in here asking about, he came in the locker room, spoke to the team. So is that a bit unusual? And his message, did you appreciate it?
I wasn't in there.
Okay.
I'm sure it was good. I haven't played many former players, so I don't know how to answer that. I haven't coached against many former players. Now, if Andy Kennedy comes in and talks to him, I want to hear that.
So performance overall, what did you think?
We played well for a while, like we have been doing. We played well for a while, and then we quit playing. We get a lead, and then we let it go. We come out and defend, do a really good job defending, rotating, doing the right things, the things weren't doing, and we worked on them in practice, and we got better. And I thought we did a really good job for a while, and then we quit doing that.
Coach Taz had said that you guys had kind of known for like the last day or a couple of days that Sean's back was probably going to hold him out this game. But down the road, is this how serious is this for Sean?
I have no idea. I haven't been in the training room.
Was it a practice thing with him, or is this something that he's had?
I don't know. I haven't talked to him. I got enough to do trying to get these other guys to play.
Bob, you got your young guys a lot of time, the real young guys. So what'd you think of them?
They got a long ways to go. They're not in very good shape, for one, because those other guys eat up the majority of the practice time. And so, I don't know if it's fair, to assess them when they haven't had well, obviously they haven't had the same reps, and I mean, obviously we thought they could help us eventually, but I knew it wasn't now. It's a big step, man. It's a big step, and as I told them in there, I mean, we got a huge step on Wednesday now. Those are as good athletes as there are in the country.
You could have redshirted Jamil King and James Okonkwo. Can we assume that they're going to play going forward?
Why would you do that the way things are today? The thing with James was I just want to make sure his family was good with it because he had the foot problem early. And I just want to make sure his family was good with it, and they were behind it being so far away. But, I mean, other than that, I mean, there's no sense redshirting anybody anymore. Why? So you redshirt a guy and you bring him back, and then he goes in the portal and leaves and goes and plays somewhere else. It doesn't make any sense to me.
If you had someone like James, but what I mean is like that situation where to jump as he did, I think it was 2 years, right? And then I don't know. I mean, it seems like an unusual situation. I don't know if you've experienced that before, and if you treat it any differently because his background is what it is, or isn't.
Well, he's an extremely intelligent kid. I think first and foremost, he's very, very intelligent. I mean, it's the same. The answer is the same, Mike. I mean, if we can get a talented kid like he is, and he is talented, it's going to take him a while, and he hasn't had a whole lot of reps because we were trying to get Paulie ready to play, which I'm really proud of Paulie. Paulie has really worked hard and has become a pretty reliable player. Cindy has gotten better because Cindy works at it. And James will work at it. That's not ever going to be an issue, I don't think. But he was out for a good while with his foot. So, trying to do the right thing, man, it's sometimes it's hard to figure out what the right thing is.
What type of player do you have in him? Is he blend in with your other big guys, or is he a little bit different? In that maybe
He's going to be one big strong dude now. Oh, he's bouncy. No, he's got good bounce. He's got good bounce. He's when he gets slowed down a little bit, he gets a little more comfortable and gets slowed down a little bit. He can shoot it. I mean, he can do a lot of things that a lot of those other guys can't do. But he's not ready to do it yet. That's the problem.
Well, it looked like he was getting tired on the court a little bit. So, I mean, which is natural for somebody who hasn't played. How long does it take to get him in basketball shape?
Well, he just started a week and a half ago or so, and we haven't obviously we haven't scrimmaged because we're trying to get ready to play a game, and he's in bad shape, and none of us are in good. None of them are in good shape. We're in bad shape. I mean, I look out there at Gabe, and he's trotting down the floor, and the only one who's really, I think, or the only ones are, I think Keaty's in pretty good shape. I think Malik's in decent shape. I think Taz is in good shape. I mean, Taz has played full games. Those guys who played those games down in South Carolina are obviously in better shape than the guys who didn't play.
Coach, kind of two ends to this question here. Obviously what Taz has been doing is going to propel him and his name and what he does. And obviously what he does is great for you guys. The other end of that, though, is other guys you need to help kind of step up. Are they relying too much on Taz, I'm wondering? Do you think there's been too much of a reliance on Taz's scoring, I guess?
I don't think we had any choice. I don't think it was a choice whether we relied on him too much or not. I think we had to. Justin, it's a pretty well-known fact in my business that the guys who put the time in and work at it, generally speaking, get better, and the guys who don't get better. The guys who play through things, we're all going to get hurt. Everybody gets hurt. Whether you sprain your ankle, how many guys have we had play with sprained ankles? I can remember Deshaun Butler spraining his ankle. Really spraining his ankle, and Doc and everybody saying he can't go. And Billy and I were walking down the stairs, ran into Jay Wright. We're playing Villanova, and Jay said, "How's Deshaun?" I said, "There's no way he can play." That's what they're telling me. There's no way he can play. He got 36. But that's a guy with a big heart. That's a guy with a big heart. That's a guy who's extremely competitive. That's a guy who wants, really honestly wants to help his team. Doesn't want to let his team down. You think back at some of those guys during, that stretch, and everybody gets hurt, man. It's whether it's a hand, a wrist, a shoulder, a knee, a ankle, whatever, everybody gets hurt. And the guys who really love the game, and like Deshaun, I'm like, are we supposed to play him? They're like, I don't know, how do you know? And then he comes out and does what he does. It was that way with Wellington. It was that way with Ebanks. Those guys, Darris, those guys. Look, think about Missoula. Think about what Missoula did. Those are guys who love the game, who want to play, who are extremely competitive. What Missoula went through is worse than anybody that we've had here. And then he still comes back, and without him, there's no way we beat Kentucky. But he had a big heart. So, I mean, you ask me questions, I don't know, because I don't know what these guys. I think Pauly would play hurt. I really do. But I don't. From there, I don't really have any idea.
So moving forward, you'd be all right with counting on like Taz to go out and get.
Just I don't have any choice. I don't have any choice. I'm not going to go beg guys to play.
You said you weren't in there. You said you weren't in there when Darius went in, but what he give me your thoughts on what he said. He said that he told them when you're up there speaking, don't listen to the tone of what you got to say. Just listen to what you say. That, is that good advice?
There's a time where you better listen to the tone. If you know what's good for you, you better listen to the tone.
As a player, you all know that, I assume.
Well, I think they all find that out. But I mean, honestly, I've tried with this group. I've tried to explain things to them. Like after the last game, I tried to explain the Segrin to them because it's part of the net. It matters. They don't get it. But at least I'm not going to feel bad when, we think we're going to be a 9 seed and we end up an 11 or we don't get in at all because they didn't listen to what I was trying to tell them to do. And we're out of those games now. I mean, the rest of the games are going to be brutal for us to win.
So of those, what kind of challenges Wednesday with UConn?
I think they have the best athletes in the country. I mean, I watched them against Michigan State, and Michigan State historically has had, they've had athletes, and they weren't close to being as athletic. I mean, it came down to a call at the end of the game, but man, they are talented athletically, really talented. They remind me a lot of a couple of the teams I had at Cincinnati. They were that athletic. They are that athletic.
Coach, with what Taz has done from last year to this year, the improvement, becoming a more well-rounded player, how much has he improved his career in the game? Any idea on that yet? Is it too early?
I think it's way too early. I don't know. I mean, I can tell you this. We've had years when there were a lot of pro scouts come walking through that door downstairs, at the practice facility. We haven't had any walk in. Had one walk in, but he's a Cincinnati guy, and he just, yeah, pretty much. It's not like it was. I mean, when we had Day and when we had Devin, and even when we had Sags and we had JC and Dax, there were people coming through. There's nobody coming through. No. Why? What? I mean, what has anybody done that would warrant that?
I think he's done something.
Well, he hasn't yet. He hasn't. It's just, and they play 80-some games, and if they end up in the playoffs, they end up playing 100 games. Oh, wait a minute. Now you're going to tell me these guys can't play 20 games, but they're going to play 100? Don't work like that.
I'm not trying to read between lines, but if you're without McNeil tonight, about 12 points, 12 shots, something like that out there, were you looking for individuals to maybe see that as an opening to use this game? Like you said, this isn't going to be like the rest of them.
Well, they should have.
It's not fulfilling for you?
Well, why wouldn't they have? I mean, I think they're foolish not to. I mean, you get a opening. Why wouldn't you try to take advantage of it? I would think that'd be the deal. I mean, Mike, I can tell you from my own personal experience, I figured out who they thought they were going to play, and I just beat the hell out of them every practice until they finally gave up. I won. I played, and you know, you look at the guys, you know, here. I mean, we've had guys that people thought there was absolutely no chance that they would play, and they've been really good players because they played, they competed, they didn't. Look at Paulie. I mean, you guys, let's be honest now. You guys didn't think Paulie was very good the first time you saw him, right? But now all of a sudden he's blocking shots. He's our best rebounder. He's our best inside scorer because he worked at it. He put time in. He spent a lot of time with Eric. He wants to get better. He wants to be good. He wanted to play. And at that time, think about it. I mean, you got Isaiah who's returning. You got the leading shot blocker in the country a year ago. Those guys are playing ahead of him. He decided he was going to outwork them. That's how it works. You know, with us, it's not personal. And we're going to play the guys we think are going to give us the best chance to win. It's not personal. And when somebody like Paulie has, when you kind of set yourself apart, you're gonna get all the playing time you can stand. He's going to get a lot more as it goes on.